Hey, can you guys see me now? Is this working? This is crazy. I'm like trying my first live here. Oh, yay. Okay, good. All right, guys, I'm going to go around to the other side of this. Yay, now you can see me. I was like, I swear I don't know what I'm doing, guys. Welcome to the live. I am, yes, ready for these lemon cookies too. I've been dreaming about them. My husband is on deck. So he is going to be trying to, if you guys have questions, anything like that, he will be trying to relay them to me because I am probably going to have a hard time reading from over here what you guys are saying. So he will sort of be mediating this live. Yeah, so I laid everything out here. I decided we're going to do the lemon cookies first. Hey, girls. Because everything that we're doing is going to require chill time. And the lemon cookie recipe says 2 hours, but you can like flash freeze and cut it by a fourth. So we're just going to put them into the freezer for like 30 minutes because I'm eating these things tonight. I don't know about you, but yeah, I'm not waiting on that. So hi everyone. So yes, so we're just going to go ahead and dive in. I did not mention this in the announcement video, so I want to mention it now. And as people start to join, since I am a minute early, if you have not yet, take out all of your sticks of butter and your cream cheese because they need to be softening. If you did not do that, you can sort of combat that in a few different ways. You can either put the butter into the microwave periodically on low for like 15-second intervals, just so you can feel it to the touch. You want it to be bendable, but you don't want it to kind of feel like Play-Doh, if that makes sense. You can also get a really hot bowl of water and sort of do like the double burner type of thing. Set the bowl on top and just kind of let the butter come to room temperature. So I would go ahead and do that. You can cut it into smaller pieces to help it come to room temperature a little bit more quickly. But I'm so excited you guys are here, and I've been wanting to do this for a really long time. I've got my notes in my Harry Potter journal here. How exciting. And yeah, so we're going to get into this. So like I said, go ahead and get your butter going, get your cream cheese going. Does anyone still need to soften those ingredients? Just let me know. I tried to put the word out, but if you didn't, that's okay. I just want to give you guys time to do so. So does anyone need time to do that, or is everyone like sort of ready to go? Trying to see if I can read from here. You can see this table is like overflowing with everything right now. So everyone's probably like with their ingredients and stuff. Does anyone need to soften butter, soften cream cheese, or we good? You guys want to go? Because I'm down to just start baking. That's totally fine with me. All right, someone stop me. Someone stop me if you do. It's been softening for a while. Okay, good. Good deal. All right, so yeah, we're gonna start with the lemon cookies, and then we're gonna flash freeze that recipe while we start on the sugar cookies so that we can come back and we can have lemon cookies at the end of this. So, all right, our first step for the lemon cookies, you're gonna wanna grab a medium bowl. So a medium mixing bowl of some sort. I do sift my ingredients a lot as well. That's going to be sort of your preference. If you do have a sifter though, I just tend to sift things. So feel free to jump in on that. If you don't, it's not a problem. And you'll see me referring to my notes because I cannot keep these things memorized. But I would tell you guys, if you do get into baking, get one of those little, you know, like your grandmother used to have the little card holders for your recipes, because I've started using that like religiously, and writing things down I think helps me. So I would definitely recommend getting one of those. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to grab 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour and put that into your medium bowl. if at any point I'm like going too fast or anything, just give me a shout. I will slow down. If you're just joining, welcome. All right, so this is where I'm gonna get a little bit weird with mine. I'm gonna put everything in and then I'm gonna re-sift it into another bowl. So again, totally optional. You do not have to do that, but I am going to sift here in a moment. So I have 2 1/4 cups of flour. I think froze there for a minute. 2 1/4 cups of flour in a medium bowl. Then we are going to add 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. So I've got my teaspoon here, 1 1/4 teaspoon baking powder. Now I wait to add salt until after I do my sifting because it just doesn't like to sift through very well. So once I get this in here, now I'm going to sift into another bowl. All right, so I've got one of these large sifters here. All right. I'm not going to do everything at once. I'll just do a little bit here. I'm just going to kind of gently sift into the bowl. And because we are live, you're going to hear my cats like that because I cannot seem to, I can't keep them out of it now that I'm live. Half the time I'm like editing them out of videos, but they're a handful. So. Am I lagging for you guys? Am I lagging on that end? Guys, can you see me? It's just lagging. Okay, I'm trying to like make sure you guys can see what's going on. All right, so I'm just continuing to sift the dry ingredients. Okay, I'm so sorry for the lag, guys. I don't know what's going on. All right, I've sifted the dry ingredients. You guys let me know how bad the lag is, if you can hear me okay, if I'm just visually lagging or if the audio is lagging, because I can try to come out and come back in if I need to. Sounds okay. Okay. All right. So now that I've got all the dry ingredients sifted, we can go back and add that salt. So you're going to add 3/4 teaspoon of salt to the dry ingredients. All right. Ooh, overdid it there a little bit. So we're doing 3/4 teaspoons of salt. And be very ginger with it. I'm going to underdo that one a little bit since I overdid the last a little bit. Okay. Let me know, guys. Do you want me to try to go out and come back in? Do you think that would be helpful? I don't know why the lag is so bad. What do you think? Should I try to figure out? Okay, guys, I'm gonna try to go out and come back in real quick and see if I can fix the video because it just seems to continue to be lagging. Give me 1 second. Can you come over here and like kind of check on this real quick?
Is it off?
Yeah, it's on. Okay, let me see. I just tried to turn the camera off and back on. That seemed to help so far. Okay. So far, maybe I fixed it. Okay, so far we have added our flour, our baking powder, and our salt into the medium mixing bowl. I guess I've got more of a large mixing bowl going on here. So, moving on. Okay, so we want to grab our sticks of butter now. Want to grab the cream cheese, have that handy. We are going to actually need 1 1/4 sticks. So you're going to want to go ahead and find, a lot of times they have like the markings. So just go ahead and cut 1/4 of one as well. And like I said, when you soften butter, it should just kind of gently bend without breaking, without feeling too much like Play-Doh. So I'm gonna cut 1/4 of this here, which would be 2 tablespoons. And we are going to begin beating and creaming basically the butter and the sugar. So if you are using a hand mixer, that's totally fine. You can use a spoon. I obviously have my stand mixer here. I will warn you, this might get kind of loud. I'm not sure how loud it's going to come through on your end, but just fair warning. If you are using a stand mixer, definitely use either your paddle attachment, which is what I would start with, and then you could switch to a dough hook if you prefer when it starts mixing together. Honestly, I just stay with the paddle most of the time unless I absolutely have to switch to the dough hook. If you're using a hand mixer or a stand mixer, either one, you really want to do everything very slowly at first. You don't want to go too crazy because stuff will start flying everywhere and it's just kind of thick to work through. So you don't want to overwork your mixers, your hand mixers, because sometimes they will actually burn out. The motors will burn out. So you have to be really careful with that. So because I am using a stand mixer, I'm going to go ahead and add it directly into this bowl. If you are, again, using a hand mixer, just whichever bowl you're going to be mixing in, go ahead and use that. And you can put your 1 1/4 stick of butter in. Sometimes it helps to go ahead and chop it up a little bit too, because again, it will beat a little bit easier. So I usually end up like kind of smashing it down with my spoon in the bowl and just breaking it up that way. I'm not, too fancy cutting it exactly precise, but you can go ahead and put the butter in. And I think I have the spatula Julianne sent me, so I'm going to be like using that to try to split mine up a little bit here. Might be a little too soft. Let me grab a spoon. So once we have the 1 1/4 sticks of unsalted butter, tends to be best as well, just because that way you can control the amount of salt that's going into your cookies. So I always like to use unsalted. We did add a little bit of salt to the ingredients. You can use salted, but that way I just like to keep the control. Now we're going to add our cream cheese, which is 1 8-ounce block. So right here, 1 whole 8-ounce block. Guess I should have grabbed some scissors. Just go ahead and add that in. guys are just joining, welcome to the bake-a-thon. It will be so worth it when these lemon cookies are done. These are the best lemon cookies I have ever had. It is so funny because I had been looking for a recipe to try, and I found this recipe in a book just while I was out, and it was the only recipe I wanted, so I just, quick took a picture of my phone. And I was reading the recipe over when I got home, and I was thinking, there really isn't anything super fatty in this, or super, there wasn't a lot of liquid in it. And I kept thinking, how is that gonna work? But it's in a recipe book. You're like, okay, they must know something I don't. So my husband and I made those one night, and once the dough got done, it even just felt so dry. And we put them in the oven and baked them for, I don't even remember how long it called for, like 12 to 14 minutes or something, I think. And when we opened the oven, they literally looked like golf balls. They hadn't flattened or moved at all, no change of shape whatsoever. And we were like, okay, I guess we'll bake a little bit longer. We ended up baking them about, 15 to 20 minutes. And
Lacey wants to know what's in the bowl, just butter, and how much cream cheese.
okay, so in the bowl, it's just butter, which is 1 stick and a quarter stick. So 1 full stick plus a quarter stick of butter is in the bowl, and then a full 8-ounce block of cream cheese. But yeah, so we got those out, and they rolled off the pan like dice. It sounded like dice rolling off of the pan. They were the most horrible cookies I can't. And I looked over the recipe, I don't know how many times, going, did I forget something? No. So this was the redemption recipe for those, and so good. And you're welcome, Lacey. Hopefully that helped. So we've got our cream cheese and our butter in here now. And then we are also going to add our sugar because we're going to be creaming. So that is going to be 1 1/4 cups of granulated sugar. You can just disregard the fact I'm using a 1/2 cup here, but it is 1 1/4 cups granulated sugar. And I find with baking, as I'm sure a lot of you already know since you probably enjoy baking, baking tends to work out best when it's very precise. So I do try to be pretty darn OCD about baking. Can you come here and hit the stop camera button and hit it again? This is kind of glitching again. There we go. All right. So this is 1 cup, and then now I'm going to be adding 1/4. Let me grab paper towel. If you don't have paper towels on hand, this would be a very good thing to have handy. 100%. I always used to tell my students, don't wear black when you bake because it's going to end up on everything. And then I'm always in all black because that's like 80% of my wardrobe. So that never works out very well. I'm going to tell you, I am not that baker who looks clean as a whistle. So if you had any high expectations, I will be dashing them for you tonight. All right. 1 1/4 cups of granulated sugar. If you are joining, we are currently creaming butter, cream cheese, and granulated sugar. So, all right, so you guys can see, got that all in here. I'm going to go ahead and flip it onto my mixer with the paddle attachment. Do not forget to lock your stand mixer if you are working with a stand mixer. Been there, done that too. Now this might get kind of loud, so if you do want to mute this for a moment, by all means, feel free to. We are going to be creaming basically until this is light and fluffy. So maybe 2 minutes-ish, we're going to be doing that. Could be a little bit longer, but somewhere in there, you just want it to kind of look light and fluffy. And always, always, always get in the habit of scraping down your bowl as things start to collect around the edges, because you don't want to have like clumps of certain things mixing in with the actual mixture. Does that make any sense? So you want to go ahead, start on low. So again, it doesn't go flying everywhere, and just kind of pause, scrape the sides down, you know, go a little bit further until you don't have to do that anymore. And here we go. Just tuning in, what are we making? Right now we are making lemon cookies. So if you are just tuning in, I can kind of give you a quick update. Hopefully you can hear me over the mixer. To start off, in a medium bowl, you want to mix in 2 1/4 cups of flour, all-purpose flour, with 1 1/4 teaspoons of baking powder and 3/4 teaspoon of salt. So I will actually try to write that in the chat right now for you so that you can get caught up if you want to join in. So while this is mixing, I will come over and type that out for you. Or if you want to join the chat as me. Yeah. Yes, this is true. All right, guys, so this is my first live. Bear with me. I'm going to add this to the chat. All right. All right, guys, so I'm going to check in on it. It's looking pretty good over here so far. Oh, no, there we go. I'm looking right at it. Do you ever do that? You're like, you give someone your phone and you're like, where's my phone? You just handed it to them. I just did that with this spatula here. So I'm going to go ahead and scrape the bowl down just one more time, give it a good mix, and then I'm going to show you what it's looking like over here.
Lacey wants to know, is it bad to mix things pretty quickly?
It's not horrible, but like a lot of times what it has to do with is how things aerate. So it can affect it a little bit, but the worst part for me is just always the dry ingredients that like fly everywhere. So I always mix things very slowly, very gradually. Even when we add in the dry ingredients here in a minute, I'm going to do like a cup at a time for that reason alone. But it more has to do with the aeration, which is the same reason that you soften the butter and that you try to not like overly soften, because it can either collect too much air, not get enough air. And also, you know, when the butter is obviously really thick, it's going to be impossible for your mixer to work with, but it's not the end of the world, you know, and it'll be fine. It's more important when you're doing like really, really precise recipes. Like for example, macaroons, like French macaroons is like a science. So certain things, everything's got to be very exact. Other things, it's like you can fudge it a little bit. All right, so I'm going to take the excess off of the paddle here. We're going to be adding stuff, but I want to sort of show you this real quick. So if you guys can see, it's like fluffy and creamy. There we go. It's a little bit better angle. You see it's pretty smooth all the way through. That's what you want. See, I'm already making a mess. I don't know how technical it is, but I usually just like flick the batter. I won't do that for you guys. I will be more professional than that, but I'm not professional in my own kitchen, so just fair warning. Okay, so now we've got our butter and our sugar and our cream cheese creamed. We have our dry ingredients here. So now we want to grab some of our other ingredients. We're going to leave the dry, leave the creamed butter concoction. So basically, we're going to do the fun part, which is zesting a lemon, because zesting is just one of those things. I don't hate it anymore, but I used to hate it because it just felt like it takes forever and is kind of a pain. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to zest a lemon. So have a lemon handy and a grater. The more finely you can grate, the better. And something else we did not talk about in this recipe is that you can add like color. If you want them to look more yellow, look more like lemon, you can add color. But the reason I didn't put that on the announcement video is because a lot of people will get just like the food coloring, you know, from the grocery store, and that's very different than what you get in like a professional cake decorating store. So that food coloring is very, very thin and watery, and it will change the consistency of what you're doing. And it's just not great. So it's not going to affect the recipe at all. But in the future, if you want that yellow color, definitely look for like a gel paste is what they're called. I will try to leave that somewhere in the description when this actually uploads to YouTube. But you want to get a gel paste because it's super concentrated, so it doesn't evaporate, it doesn't create the same consistency problems, that sort of thing. So I just kind of left it out because it's not necessary. I just kind of like how it looks because I like the visual appeal, but just sort of a heads up for future reference. When you're baking, definitely look into getting those gel pastes. I typically use Americolor. It's really, really good. So zesting. You're going to want to have a plate handy, something for the zest to go onto. You're going to want to have your grater. Let me get a small plate here. I believe this calls for a 1/4 teaspoon. Let's see. Nope, that's the lemon. That's the lemon juice I'm thinking about. Okay, so we're going to need 2 teaspoons of the lemon zest, finely grated. And so you can see I've got my grater here. I'm going to use this really fine side. And I learned very quickly, just be aggressive with it. It is going to make your life much, much easier if you are. And you're just going to start grating the lemon zest. If you are having issues with getting it out, because like I can see that I've got zest in here, you can grab a fork, a spatula. You might have to fix the imaging again. Sorry guys, it's just lagging. But you might want to have a fork, a knife, something handy. Probably a knife would honestly be better. Let's see, we're gonna fix this for you guys real quick. Yeah, there we go. So having a fork, knife, something like that handy to actually scrape the zest out is gonna be helpful. But I'm gonna go ahead and keep zesting for now. If you've never zested, you're literally just kind of grating the peel part of the lemon off. That's where all the flavor is. All right, so I'm gonna grab my knife here. Hopefully everyone's zesting is going okay. So we're going for 2 teaspoons. That's probably not even quite a teaspoon, so I'm gonna keep going. It makes the kitchen smell great though. I actually like the smell when I'm zesting. It smells so, so good. We actually use it in almost everything now. We started getting HelloFresh. I don't know if anyone else has gotten it, but we absolutely love it. And like, I feel like 90% of the recipes are always having me zest a lemon or a lime. So kind of just getting used to doing that now. I used to mostly make like chocolate desserts and stuff. I never used to like lemon, and then I started loving it so much. And now I feel like I'm just zesting all the time.
Enough wants to know if the lemon spoils faster once you zest
Ooh, probably. Yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure. My background is heavier on the decorating side of things, but that would make sense to me that it would. Just with the air exposure, since you're kind of peeling off some of its natural layer. All right, guys, this is the very glamorous part of like trying to get the zest off of here. Finally zest it, but then you can't get it off the grater, so. Tap it. You want to come do it? More cowbell. All right, let's see. So teaspoon. Let's see how much I've got. All right, so I feel like I've got about 1 teaspoon right now with this big lemon. I probably have another on the outside. I'm actually gonna grab a second lemon. If you guys only have 1 and you don't quite have enough, that's okay. Don't stress about it. But just do your best to get as much as you can off of the grater. I just have the luxury that I have another one here, so I'm gonna use it. Oh yeah, no, it is really good, Julianne. We love it, and we're really picky eaters, so it has definitely sort of expanded that. I've tried a lot of things I never used to try. I don't know. I'm very, very picky, and I'm sure it probably makes my husband's life difficult at times, especially when we go out to eat. I'm a very, very picky eater, but I found myself liking more things lately. So I know they say your taste buds change like every so often. Maybe I'm growing as a person and maturing. I don't think so. right, gonna go for round 3, and then I think I'm gonna be done with the grating. We're almost there. We're getting to the part where we're gonna mix stuff. Be careful too. It's very easy if you're using one of these standing graters to literally grate your hand off. So please don't do that. Be very, very careful. I am accident prone, so it has happened a time or two. This is probably all the further I'm gonna go with it. I think this is gonna be close to the 2 teaspoons once it's all in. I think that'll be about 2 teaspoons. All right. Give you guys a minute in case you're still zesting. I know, Lacey, I know, I feel like that too. I'm like, I swear I'm paying attention, guys, but I'm like over here with the grater. I know it. I figured that was gonna happen, so I wanna make sure you guys have enough time and then I'm not moving on too fast, so I'll give you a minute. I will tell you that in a second here, what we're gonna be doing is adding a few more things to our butter mixture. So the zest being one of them. And then when you are done zesting, the next thing you are gonna wanna grab is a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Now the recipe says fresh lemon juice. I believe the last time I made this, I did like half from the lemons and half from like these little bottles here. So it works, you know what I mean? It's whatever you wanna do. But since I have these lemons all bald now and they're probably gonna go bad, like Bianca was saying, then I'm probably gonna go ahead and at least try to use some of the juice from this. So again, that's gonna be a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. You might wanna grab like a cutting board and stuff if you wanna do that, but if not, again, I'm sure this is just fine. So don't feel like you have to go on a lemon squeezing, journey here. You can see my table is already destroyed, so all right, I'm gonna start just cutting these lemons so I can juice them into the cup here in a second. If you're just joining, we are making like the best lemon cookies I have ever tasted. I think our video is going again. We are periodically fixing that. Better? There we go. Okay, cool. I just want to point out too, obviously I wanted to wear the Cinderella apron for this live. I do not normally wear like the JoJo bow in my hair, but I just thought it would work, and my hair is so long that when I bake, it's like a necessity to put it up because otherwise it's in everything, which is not cute. Not cute at all. So cutting the lemons, again, 1/4 cup of fresh lemon juice here in a second, or the bottled lemon juice. You will also need to have your extract handy. All right, 1/4 cup. Try to get the seeds out too. If you are gonna do it this way, make sure it's helpful to get them out. If you can't, then just kind of have a spoon to spoon them out momentarily. Just gonna do this right here at the table, which might be a mistake, but we're gonna do it anyway. Yeah, anytime you can use anything fresh though, I do think it just makes the recipe that much better. So I like to when I can, but you know, sometimes when you're in a pinch, it is what it is, just like we're gonna be flash freezing the dough here in a little bit. This is actually quite a bit more involved too on the actual process of making these than the sugar cookies are, but the sugar cookies have a longer sit time. So We will get to enjoy these later, and the sugar cookies will have to wait until tomorrow. Some of you probably heard me mention that, some of you may not have, but what I will do is while this is flash freezing, I'm gonna show you the process of the sugar cookies, which of course you're welcome to do right along with me. And then I made some this morning so that I can show you the second part of that, so that if you want to come back in the morning and kind of follow along with that, that it is there for you. There's not much to it, honestly, after the sitting process. Oh, I have this little thing that popped up, hun. Will you grab that for me? So there's not going to be much more to it, but I want you guys to have all the information so that it's there at your fingertips to come back to. But it's really good because that's one thing I used to get asked a lot was, hey, Tim and Johnny, is because, you know, when I used to teach cake decorating, I'd get asked a lot about why the cookies fall out. And there's just so many little things that go into that, specifically using chilled dough, because when it sits out too long and it gets soft, I mean, it's kind of like when I get soft and I sit on the couch and it all just kind of spreads out. It's the same principle with the cookie dough. So you don't want to let it get too warm and soft. The cookies? Yeah. They're definitely more sweet. They are actually lemon butter cookies and they are awesome. So definitely more sweet, especially we will be like rolling them in powdered sugar. And they pick up some of that, and I think they're even better cold. I will tell you guys that now. Definitely try one, but then stick them in the fridge and put them in, you know, like a Tupperware overnight. Try them cold. Man, they're the best. They are the absolute best. I've got about my quarter cup here. I do have some seeds floating around though, so let me get those. This is the very like unlegit way to do this right now, just so you guys know. All right. Okay, got my quarter cup of lemon juice. How is everyone doing on the zesting and the juice? Is everyone like ready? We still zesting? What's going on? Oh, I love all the lemon things too. I love all the lemon things too, Denise. And I literally did not used to, and now it's just lemon everything. I think everyone's still working since I'm not seeing anything yet. So I'm going to give you guys a second and I will get rid of my, this pretty little destruction that I've done over here. I'm going to get rid of it. So again, we are zesting 2 teaspoons of lemon zest, zesting the lemon, and getting a quarter cup of lemon juice ready. Huh? Okay, Lacey's still zesting, that's okay. I will just chat your little ears off while you zest. I did put up a poll and I had a few people ask questions, so I'll just go ahead and kind of address one of them now. Someone had asked how I kind of fell in love with cake decorating and baking. And so when I was in college, you know, I've always been drawn to anything creative. I'm sure you guys have probably figured that out about me by now, because I just have my hands in, I feel like 15 things at once all the time. And I was working part-time at a Maggie Moo's ice cream shop. I don't know if anyone's had Maggie Moo's. I love their ice cream still. But when I was in college, I worked there just scooping ice cream to have some extra fun money in college. And I used to see the girl in the back doing the ice cream cakes. And I always thought, you know, oh, that's kind of cool. It's creative. It's an art form. That's cool. But I thought I'd be terrible at something like that. My attention to detail sometimes is not there. Although if I really love something, then I'm like a laser beam, which is how it typically is with creative stuff. So anyway, I had come into work one day and the girl who made the ice cream cakes had an order and the lady was there to pick it up and the girl just wasn't there and hadn't made the cake. So you know, no one there knew how to do it. And I had at least seen the process quite a bit. And I said, well, you know, I can throw on an apron and try to do it, but I can't make any promises it's going to be anything. So I did that. It was not beautiful, but it was not like completely unfortunate. So my boss was very happy with me and said, hey, you know, we could really use another person that knows how to do this. Would you want to start learning to do this? And I said, yes, I would absolutely prefer to do that to scooping ice cream. So I started training, which was very informal. It was more just kind of, again, everyone picked it up along the way. And I did that for about 3 to 4 years, different ice cream shops doing their cakes. And it kind of got to that point where, you know, you're like, you see Cake Boss was big back then, all that stuff. And I felt like there's so much more I could be learning. So one day, a local shop here was looking for an instructor. My mom found the ad and told me, you know, you should go apply. And I said, I cannot teach people. I don't know enough. I am self-taught. I'm not that great at it. And I got really lucky and got hired. And the lady that owned it was like a professional. And she took me and one other girl into the shop and just taught us everything she knew. She sent us for trainings in Chicago, different places like that. And you know, when you have your hands on it, I was teaching probably 9 classes a week at one point, fondant classes, different things. And she would bring in people from Food Network that would do classes at the actual shop, and we'd get to take all of those. So my hands were just on the product all the time. And I went from I learned 5 times what I learned self-taught within like a fraction of the time, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's how it happened. How's everyone doing? I see Lacey says she's ready. Everyone good to go? Think so. We have 2 teaspoons of lemon zest and a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Okay. So the next thing that you're going to need to grab is going to be your pure vanilla extract and 2 large eggs. So the vanilla extract, this one here, and we're going to be doing 1 teaspoon of this. We're going to put it into the actual butter mixture here. Should probably do this over your bowl. 1 teaspoon into there, and we're going to need to crack 2 large eggs, put them in. I do like to do that in a separate small bowl just in case I do get shells, then they're not in my butter mixture. They're in a separate bowl that I can get them out of. I've gotten just a teensy little thing. All right. So then you can go ahead and put the 2 large eggs into the bowl as well with your butter and sugar. You can throw your lemon zest in as well. So we've got, let's see, we've got our vanilla extract, 2 eggs, our lemon zest, going in with the butter and sugar and cream cheese. Then if you've got your 1/4 cup of lemon juice, that can also go on in. Now at this point, if you do not have your color, you can just start slowly beating. We are going to add the dry ingredients in, so you don't have to like beat this too far, just enough to kind of get it mixed in. I do have the coloring. I'm actually going to go ahead, first thing, bring that mixer down, lock it. I'm going to start slowly beating this, a little slower. But once this is kind of just lightly mixed in, if you did want to add gel coloring, which this is what I was talking about earlier, I've got this Americolor gel paste here. I don't know how well you can see this. Americolor gel paste. This one is in the color egg yellow. It's kind of a sunny yellow, which I prefer to like a bright, I don't know, I don't like the real like highlighter yellow. This one's a little softer of a yellow. Would you be a dear and pull that off for me? Thank you. And it says to add about maybe 10 drops. So if you do decide to color this right now or in the future, either way, again, with a gel paste, preferably not any kind of food coloring. It's not going to work really. This is where you would add your drops in. There we go. I do love that coloring. It's the best. Okay, so now I haven't added any dry ingredients yet. I have just lightly mixed my food coloring and my eggs and all of that good stuff, the lemon zest, the lemon juice in with the creamed product. You can see, look at how yellow that is on my paddle. So that's what's gonna happen. It is gonna tone down a little bit with the dry ingredients added to it. So now we are going to start adding the dry ingredients. So if you want to take a minute, kind of clean your space up a little bit, you can see I've got stuff everywhere here. Take just a moment, kind of get organized. And the dry ingredients we're going to add in slowly, a little at a time, and we want them to mix in until they're just mixed. We don't want to over mix this part at all. So once it looks like a dough, you can stop. So again, I'm going to move some stuff out of the way here. I start to feel crazy or really quick when my kitchen has stuff everywhere, so. We will need the eggs again, so I'm just gonna set those off to the side. Sugar, flour, all that good stuff. Oh yeah, and one thing I'll show you guys while you are cleaning up too, I had been wanting to do this in a video and wanting to show you guys because I think you'd really like it, but I just hadn't gotten to it yet. So someone sent me this, and it had been something I've been looking at for a long time. It's by Best Box Ever Bakery. Best Box Ever Bakery. They are on Etsy, and I believe they use like the laser printers and make these, but it is a Minnie Mouse headband cookie cutter. So I haven't used this yet. I've been wanting to kind of do a tutorial with it. But again, in the description, when I actually upload this to YouTube, I will try to put a link to this for you guys because this is a fun one to have and you could do all different ear designs. I just think this is really cool. So I'm gonna stick that up there for you guys. All right, we're almost done, guys. We're almost done with the mixing. All right, so I'm gonna grab the dry ingredients, and I would have some sort of measuring cup, spoon, something to add this in with. Let me know how you guys are doing. If you're all good, ready to go. Yeah, okay. So all we have left is isn't it so cute? I know, I love that. It's so, so cute. So I will definitely put that where it's available to you guys, especially some of you I know saw back in October, I did the Mickey pumpkin cookie. This sugar cookie recipe is gonna be the one that I use for those types of cookies where you wanna do the real fancy royal icing designs. So I feel like this cutter is perfect for that because you can go design crazy. So yeah, I will definitely leave that link for you guys. All right, so now I've got my dry ingredients here. I'm going to add, I've got a 1/2 half cup here. You could do up to a cup at a time. I am going to just go ahead and drop that into my mixing bowl. And again, very, very slow with the dry ingredients, and lock your mixing bowl if you have one that is a stand mixer. This is another point that you are going to want to scrape the sides of your bowl as you do this, because that powder is going to collect on the side. So I'll mix a little bit, I'll stop, scrape the sides down, and then I'll start mixing again. And because we're trying to not over mix this, once I see that it's kind of blended in, I'm just going to go ahead and add another cup. Make sure you start slow. I definitely hit that a little too fast there. All right, scraping the sides down, mixing again. So it's a slow process, but we're getting there, and it's starting to look like cookies, which makes me excited. I can probably get like one more scoop out of this, and then you're probably just going to see me dump the rest of the bowl in, because that'll just be easier. Now this is the fourth half cup that I have added, or approximately half cup. My measuring cup here is a half cup. And it's starting to get a little thicker. So you're going to start to see that as you get near the end of your dry ingredients here. It's going to start to thicken up a little bit. If you're using a hand mixer, this is where it's going to start to get a little tougher. So just go slow. Remember, we have to get this just mixed. This does not have to be, whipped for hours or anything like that. And now, let's see here. I'm going to actually take this off so that I can get this in. And I just have a little bit left in the bottom here, and I'm going to just dump the rest in. Okay, now this time I'm gonna give it one final scrape of the bowl, but I'm gonna again take the bowl out and like kind of scrape through the bottom too. Your husband barely eats. Oh, I know, mine too, Lacey. Mine's like got the biggest willpower of all time with sweets, and I do not. Not even a little bit, although I don't think he's gonna be resisting eating all of these. These are one of his favorites, but I just don't have that kind of willpower. If you give me something sweet, I'm probably eating it. So I try to actually not keep a lot of sweet things in the house, because otherwise I will eat it. So yeah, and then here I am baking lemon cookies with you guys. So my willpower is weak. All right. Okay, so I'm going to give this one last mix. And that is it. So now we have our dough completely made. If you, again, are using a stand mixer or a hand mixer, just make sure you kind of try to get all of that dough, save all of it that you can. You can see it's still a fairly soft dough. So this is why we like to refrigerate or freeze it so that it is a little thicker to work with. I am going to give you completely fair warning. We're going to be working with our hands and it is going to get a little messy. So once you're totally done, we are going to, like I said, normally you would leave this for 2 hours to overnight in the fridge. But to do this a little more quickly, we are going to flash freeze it basically. So I'm just going to put saran wrap directly over my bowl and into the freezer. If your bowl is too big and you need to transfer it into something smaller, that's fine, but we're going to stick it in the freezer. I'm going to clean up a little bit, and then we are going to talk about the sugar cookies, and then we're going to come back and bake these after they have been in the freezer. So if you have saran wrap handy, go ahead and do that. Actually, what am I talking about? I'm going to have to transfer it into a bowl since we're going to be doing the sugar cookies. So I'm going to do that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put it in some Tupperware instead. Everyone doing okay? Oh, I know. I do too, Lacey, from the really good bakeries. I'm a sucker for like French macaroons. I actually just kind of purchased all the things to have a go with them. I just love them. I know they're super precise, although I think I'm pretty precise as a baker, so I'm hoping it will go okay. I do not like, what do they call them? American macarons versus French macaroons. Is that right? It's super weird. I hear people say that all the time, and I find it really confusing. But I know there's definitely a difference. I am a sucker for those too. It's probably one of my favorite desserts. All right. Would you want to assist me for a moment? So my husband is going to come say hi. He's helping me clean up and do all of the things so that we can keep moving. Isn't that a good husband? It's super nice, but he gets rewarded with cookies. So I think it's okay. He's here to help us out. So this is Casey. I know you like never see him on the channel, but he exists. Hello. He's back there. We're very, very lucky that we have not seen the cats running around or screaming. It's actually a miracle. Oh, they're sleeping? Wow. That never happens. Oh yeah, you should get into candy making. You should get into candy making. Let's see, I made some candied lemon dust earlier. Oh, that sounds so good. Oh yeah, that sounds really good. And yeah, I'd like to get more into candy making too. I've done a little, but not a ton. I've done the most with cakes, but I did used to teach cupcakes and cookies too, so I've done a little bit with that. But candies are probably the thing I've done the least. And also, have you guys ever seen on the shows how they do like blown and pulled sugar, where they blow the sugar and pull it like glass? It's crazy. I've taken a couple classes on it. It is hard. That is not for me. I think cake decorating and the decorating world is so expansive that you're not going to be good at every part of it, and that is not for me. It is so hot. It is so uncomfortable. It is just doesn't feel natural to me at all. So that is not for me, doing the pulled and blown sugar. It's so cool, but no, that is not for me. Oh, thanks for coming, Denise. Thank you. Have a good night. I don't know if she's still here, but thank you. All right, so I'm going to be putting this in the freezer. Once I can figure out, put my lid right here. All right, so that's going to go in for about 30 minutes or so. We'll talk about the sugar cookies because it's not as involved, so it won't take us as long, and then we can do some baking. This is probably okay. This is just dry ingredients, so we'll use that again in a second. I would also check on your butter for the sugar cookies while you are cleaning up here, because you want to make sure that it did not get like too crazy soft. So mine still feels fine. Just again, it shouldn't feel like Play-Doh, but just kind of check in on it. Yes, I'm excited too. I can't wait till everybody can taste these and tell me what you think, because literally, I swear to you, I think they're like the best thing ever. Just tell everyone it's your own personal recipe. Don't tell them that this isn't your recipe. Just make them think that you are like a recipe goddess. That's what has to happen. I like to just claim things, so. So how is everyone's quarantine going? I need to hear how the self-isolation is going. Have you been doing more baking or other like crafts? Because I feel like crafts are the thing that's saving me right now. I have been nonstop crafting. We have felt like we miss the gym a lot. We're used to working out and that sort of thing and haven't been able to go, but we ordered a spin bike and decided we're going to start doing that at home instead. So we're actually picking that up tomorrow, and I'm like, yes. So I'm working these cookies off tomorrow is what I'm going to be doing. I'll let you know how that goes, because if I eat like 10, I might have to be on the spin bike all day. Here, dry, use it. All right, how's everyone doing? Are we good? Are we caught up? I can kind of see your comments from here. I can like lean in and read them, so just let me know. You're still working, I understand. I know it's kind of like hard to chat when it's hands-on. Just having babies and buying houses. That's so exciting though. That's awesome. I wish I could buy houses. We're probably going to be moving pretty soon. We'll see. We don't know for sure yet. I can't say anything for sure yet, but word on the street is that we're probably going to be moving sometime in the near future. Hopefully closer to Disney. The series 21-day fix. What is that, Julianne? Is that like that? Is it a program online? I don't think I've heard of that one. Is 21-day fix? Is that a fitness thing? I don't know. I haven't heard of that one, but that sounds awesome. I've been trying to learn because I'm Zumba certified, and I've been trying to learn enough to do like an online class for people. But you know, licensing gets so weird, and I do a lot of tracks that aren't Zumba songs in my classes. So I've had to kind of start like relearning with new music so that I can do that for people. Okay, so hopefully you guys are coming along okay. I'm gonna start, just keep chatting with me. I'm gonna start talking about the rollout cookie recipe, the sugar cookie recipe. So I've just kind of set all my ingredients off to the sides here, so I'm probably going to be telling you as we go. Oh, it's DVDs. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's nice to have those at-home options, especially right now. We've been just pretty much doing walks, and I never thought I'd run a day in my life because I absolutely can't stand running, but that's what we're trying to work on right now. So I'll be doing a little bit more of that. I think I'm freezing again. You might have to unglitch me. Unglitch me. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna start talking about these sugar cookie recipes. So this is a recipe that I just think is perfect for decorated cookies. So when you get into doing the royal icing, you can even do fondant cutouts with the cutter if you want. I prefer the royal icing myself. I like the way it tastes. I like the way it looks. You're gonna have a lot more flexibility with the design. But a lot of times, you have those sugar cookies and they are just too sweet. I don't like that because the royal icing is so sweet anyway. I don't need the sugar cookie to be overwhelmingly sweet. And most of the time, again, a lot of people struggle with having the cookie fall out. And, it goes from a beautiful bird cutter into some misshapen dump truck cookie, right? It's like a completely different shape by the time you're done. So I'm going to talk to you about a recipe I like and some things to kind of troubleshoot that with. This recipe we will make, and then again, we're gonna stick it in the fridge overnight, but I will show you with mine what I do once it's done because it's very short. It'll be easy to explain, and then you can do that tomorrow. So, all right, for this one, you're gonna be starting with 3 cups of all-purpose flour in a bowl. So again, grab a mixing bowl. I have this one right here. Some of you probably saw me open this on my channel. I got this in that little, like globe in box. I absolutely love it. It's like super lightweight and really, really just, I don't know, I just really like the feel of it and the workability of it. So 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just sift it because again, I like to just sift things. So go ahead and do that. So 3 cups all-purpose flour. Now I will tell you with this recipe, when we start mixing, if you ever feel like a sugar cookie is getting really dry and not holding together like at all, don't feel like you have to add the entirety of your dry ingredients. I have had it before where maybe my eggs weren't as big, something like that, where it wasn't quite as liquidy starting out. Does that make any sense? And I ended up not using all of it. So you'll see what I mean when we get there. But every now and then with this recipe, I don't use everything. I did on the one earlier today. So I'm gonna say I probably am today. But it's just kind of something to monitor. And I'll show you the consistency when we get there so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. All right, so I've got 3 cups of all-purpose flour into a bowl. Of course, remember that you don't have to sift, but I just always tend to. It helps, reduce clumping and things like that in the actual cookie dough recipe. It's just sort of like a safety net a little bit with the recipe. Let's see. I know, I really do want to get more into running and that sort of thing, but I've never, people say, oh, you do it enough and you get to that point that you get that runner's high, and I'm like, I've never experienced that. I don't know what you're talking about. So I'm trying to work on, I'd like to be a little better at it. I had a little child pass me the last time I did a 5K in college. This is not a lie. Like, they passed me hard. Like, I was so bad. So it was a little bit demoralizing. I'd like to get a little better at running. Okay, we're gonna need just a little mixing bowl. So I'm gonna go back to my egg bowl here because it is going to be eggs again. So we are going to be grabbing just 1 large egg. Cracking that into a bowl. Not my best crack. Trying not to dirty the entire kitchen. I got a little bit. Actually, I don't know if that's a shell, but we're gonna grab it. Here we go. All right, 1 large egg into a small bowl, and then we are also going to be adding our tablespoon. It's going to be a tablespoon this time, not a teaspoon. You can use almond or vanilla extract. I actually really like the flavor of almond, so I'm actually going to be using almond for this one. But almond or vanilla, either one will be just fine. So 1 tablespoon vanilla or almond extract in with the egg. And then you're gonna just kind of whisk it together a little bit. So you can grab a fork, or if you actually have a whisk, you can use that. I always just grab a tiny little fork and do it that way. You can just kind of set that aside for a second. And then we are going to be adding a teaspoon of baking powder. So everyone doing okay over there? We're going to be adding the baking powder to the dry mixture. I did not say that. So you're going to grab the dry flour that you put in the bowl already. And let's see, I need a different teaspoon here. I'm going to sift it through too. I know that probably seems a little bit OCD. You certainly don't have to, but I'm going to just go ahead and do it. I've got my sifter here. All right, 1 teaspoon. I've got a half teaspoon, so I'm doing it twice, but it's just 1 teaspoon. Baking powder in with the flour. I agree. I think I really do like the almond better too. I use it quite often, especially, I mean, just anytime I can really. I actually prefer it as well. I like it a lot. This is going to be a really weird one, but does anyone like those almond cookies that you get sometimes at like the Chinese buffets? I don't know what it is. It's just because I like the almond flavor. Those are so good to me too. Even though I know they're not like the gourmetest cookie of cookies, I just think they're so good though. All right, so if you chose to sift, this is when you're going to add your salt. Like I said, it just doesn't sift. Really, it doesn't really do anything for the salt, so that's why you don't really have to sift it. But we are going to be adding a 1/4 teaspoon of salt to the dry mixture. And let's see. And then we are going to be back mixing. So make sure you have a mixing bowl handy. We will be creaming again. So it's going to be our butter and sugar coming up next. Our eggs and our dry ingredients are just kind of chilling right now. So this time is also, it's going to, well actually this time's a little different. It's 2 full sticks of butter on this one. So again, I'm just gonna add them in and I'm just gonna kind of break them up inside the actual bowl. and it's going to be 1 cup of granulated sugar. Now this time we are going to cream it a little bit longer. We don't have the cream cheese in, so the process is going to be a little different here. And sugar, 1 whole cup of sugar. Got 2 half cups here, but 1 whole cup of sugar. So I'm gonna grab a large spoon here just to kind of break things up a little bit. And we're gonna be creaming for probably about 5 minutes this time. So a little bit longer than it took, again, with the other mixture. And remember, everything very slow with the paddle or a dough hook. Once we start to work the dry ingredients in, you can switch to a dough hook if that is your preference. I just leave my paddle most of the time. All right, so I've got my paddle back on. I'm just gonna lower my mixer, and I'm gonna start very, very slow again. Remember to scrape the sides of your bowl off as you're doing this. Very important. We don't want extra ingredients kind of floating around. So we want this to get nice and fluffy, just like last time, and it's just gonna take it a little bit longer. So again, I'm scraping down the sides of my bowl, sort of scraping my paddle off, getting everything reconstituted down in the bottom of the bowl, and then I'll go in. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit too, but don't go too high, but I'm gonna click it up maybe a notch. I'm on a 4 right now. And scrape down again. Isn't this exciting? Oh, all right. And now I'm probably just gonna let it go for a little bit. I'm gonna let it go for a couple minutes. So if you have any questions, anything, this is a good time, because this is just gonna be sitting here mixing for a second, getting kind of fluffy. And I might do another video soon decorating with the cookie cutter I showed you guys earlier, because I'm gonna have so much cookie dough from today, because I did a whole other batch of this morning so that I could show you guys some tips when you get to actually cutting out and baking. If I what? If I make pies, I used to make pumpkin pies, but it's been a really long time. I truthfully, because I'm such a picky eater, pumpkin pie, I think, is the only pie I've ever had. Is that not crazy? So yeah, I can't give you much advice there. But I mean, we're all on YouTube, right? I found some really good stuff there, or even like Delish's website. I don't know how many of you have been on Delish, but sometimes they have really good stuff on there. So I would definitely recommend checking them out too. Like, I legit don't think I've ever had anything but pumpkin pie. I've never had apple pie. I've never had pecan pie. I've never had key lime pie. Isn't that weird? I'm just really weird with food. It's really sad, actually. But I would try. I would try other ones because I like sweet stuff. But I'm weird with like textures. I'm weird with, I don't know. I'm just a really weird eater. I am hoping that I will be doing a tutorial on French macaroons at some point, though. I really do want to get good at those. I really, really love those. And something really interesting I learned, this is just like a random fact of the night. Something really interesting that I learned is that most French macaroon recipes call for something called castor sugar, which is something I had never heard of. And essentially it is a sugar that is somewhere between a powdered sugar and a granulated sugar in terms of the consistency. It's not as thick as a granulated sugar and not as fine as a powdered sugar. Because, you know, again, that's where the sifting really comes in and it's helpful and that sort of thing, because those macaroons are so perfect that they have that kind of cushiony top. You don't want big chunks of things in there. So it calls for a very specific sugar. I believe there might be a way that you can, what's the word I'm looking for? Use a food processor and like thin out certain sugars to be closer to that. But I ended up buying castor sugar on Amazon to try to like stick to what it says to do, because the real French pastry chefs, as I understand it, use castor sugar. So that was something I did not know. I'd never heard of before. All right, so this I think is done. I'm gonna show you guys what mine is looking like here. Once I can get it off the paddle. See where you can see it. It looks pretty fluffy. There we go. Looking pretty fluffy in there. Ooh, silk chocolate pie. I think I have had that because I like chocolate. Yeah, no, I've had that. I've had ice cream pies, like peanut butter ice cream pies and stuff I've had, but I think I have had silk chocolate pie now that you mentioned it. I think I've had that. All right, so now that we have that all mixed up, we are going to start slowly adding in the extract egg combination. So since it's been sitting a minute, just kind of mix it up for a second, pour it in. I just do like half of it. Just do half of it to start. And very slow because we've got a liquid in there. It will want to fly out. So we're going to be mixing this 1 to 2 minutes, not crazy long. And once you feel like it's not going to come flying out, you're going to go ahead and add the rest in. And then start slow again. Gonna let it mix. You have got to try macaroons, Lacey. You've got to try them, but make sure they're not like the Americanized. Make sure you get like the French macaroons. And most places I think are more like the French macaroons, but they're so good. There's nothing else like them. They're soft, but they have like a light crunch just on the outer shell. And then they have, usually they're filled with like chocolate ganache or something like that. Oh, they're so good. I just like, I'm already dreaming about them. My husband's like laughing at me over here. I'm like, dreaming. Oh, you're scared to try to make them? I thought you're scared to try them. I'm like, I'm scared to try stuff too. No, yeah, I know. I'm a little scared. I'm scared too because they're so precise. See, I can almost read what you guys are saying. I can almost read it. Okay, so this seems pretty mixed up. Scrape the sides of my bowl down again. I believe we're going to be adding dry ingredients here, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so now we're going to start adding our dry ingredients. So again, things like to fly out. So what we're going to be doing here is 1 cup approximately at a time. This is where, when I mentioned earlier, really watching how everything mixes in is going to be important, because like I said before, I've had it where I did the same exact recipe and it started to look too dry to me. So just be very careful. I will kind of show you as I go. Start with like 1 cup at a time. I've got a half cup here, so I'm going to be doing 2, but do like a cup at a time. Make sure your mixer's locked and go very slow and scrape the sides down, the whole 9 yards. You guys got it now. You got it. Ooh, cherry pie. That'd be good to try. Yeah, I should definitely try that. That sounds good. Mickey shaped beignets. Me too. Me too, because I really like beignets, and I don't think they had the Mickey shaped ones when I went. What flavor do you start with? For which thing? All right, so I'm just gonna kind of scrape the bowl down, guys. Oh yeah, the ice cream macaroons, those are so good. We actually got one of those accidentally last time we were there. We were trying to get a regular one and they were like, here. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna argue it. That works. I basically lose all decorum anytime. Hey, Jossam. I basically lose all decorum at Disney anytime I get like a Mickey ice cream bar. I'm just like a drippy mess all over myself. I don't even care. So, all right. I've added 1 cup. Now we're going to add our 2nd cup. When we get to that 3rd cup is when we want to start like really monitoring how this is going to look. So you know the drill, nice and slow. Scrape down your bowl. It's gonna really look dry when you add that 2nd cup in. That's okay. It will kind of come back together. It's gonna be much thicker than the lemon cookies, so it's gonna be a lot thicker. It's supposed to be. All right, scrape your bowl. Starting to look a little more like dough. Not gonna mix very long. And now I'm gonna kind of go for that 3rd-ish cup. So you're gonna find that you probably have a little more than that. There we go. It's gonna get really thick. The paddle is gonna probably want to slow down a little bit, so it's okay. It's supposed to do that. This is where we're just gonna be scraping and keeping up with what we're doing here. I turned it up 1 click to try to move some of that thicker dough around now that it is more of a dough. I'm going to stop it again. Apparently throw my lock into my mixer, so that's cool. Make sure you do that. It's part of the recipe. Sometimes on these stand mixers, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, that your little lock for where the attachments go, they get loose as you turn this on over and over, so sometimes it falls off, so that's just the way it is. All right, scraping down my sides again. I'm gonna give it one more mix before I decide how far I wanna go with these dry ingredients here. Now I'm on a 4 again, going a little bit further. I have not had the school bread, but that is also on my list. I've heard really good things. Oh, me too. Oh, 100%, 100%. All right, so you should, if you have a stand mixer, well, honestly, if you have a hand mixer too, you should be seeing, look at how this is like really wanting to grab my paddle now, right? That's what we want. It's still holding together. It's not breaking apart yet. If you want to give it enough of a mix to see if it's going to hold together, because sometimes you just haven't mixed it enough. But if it's still holding together like that, you can see this is how much I have left. I'm just going to do maybe a third to half of this and reevaluate. So this is where I'm just going to start being really careful to make sure that it doesn't start looking too dry. Beignets, I love beignets. Oh, I'm so sorry, Julianne. I hate that for everyone. That's horrible. Okay, so we're gonna check on it again here. It's still holding pretty well. It's feeling close to me though. This feels close. It can probably handle the rest of what's in here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use the rest. Oops. If you have started to notice anything that looks like super dry, like it doesn't want to hold though, just stop. Don't let it get that far. Seems okay on this end. Hopefully you guys are doing okay too. I'm gonna move some stuff out of the way here. Now, once this is all mixed together, we're actually gonna hand knead it a little bit. Again, to try to kind of get it glued together like a dough. So, I don't know why I got rid of my spatula so quickly. Let's do this. Okay, clean the paddle off here. So you can see it looks a little crumbly, but it's not bad. And this will mix together with my hands. So either within your bowl or really just within your bowl, we're gonna be mixing this together. So don't be afraid to get a little, can I say handsy on YouTube? Can I say that? Don't be afraid to get a little bit aggressive with the dough. This should only take 30 seconds to a minute to kind of knead together. You'll see it'll start coming together like a dough, which is absolutely perfect. Exactly what we want. So you can see it's kind of looking like this, which is great. This is what we want. It's pretty much ready to go. So once it wants to hold together like a dough, you're gonna grab some saran wrap. You're gonna wrap the dough up in there. And I would put it in like a Ziploc if you have it too, just to kind of give it some extra protection from the moisture and stuff in the fridge. And you are going to chill it overnight. They say 4 to 8 hours, but I just chill it overnight if I can because it really works out well that way. So let me grab a Ziploc here. I'll fix the fridge. Now I'm going to take the one that I pre-made out of the freezer. It's going to take a little bit, but we're going to come back to our lemon cookies. So first thing, just go ahead and again kind of clean up your space. We're going to need room to work. So you're not going to want, if you have a bunch of stuff out, you're not going to want it out. You're going to want room. You're going to want a baking sheet. You're going to want some parchment paper, and you are going to want a plate with some powdered sugar in it, a pretty good amount, because you're going to be actually rolling it into the powdered sugar. So just take some time, kind of get ready. I think we're done with all of our mixing. You guys have survived my first live. I'm so impressed. You guys are killing it. And you're gonna have awesome, awesome lemon cookies here in a minute, and it's gonna be so, so worth it. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing, Julianne. That sounds awesome. My birthday is actually New Year's Eve, so that would be perfect. I am hoping to be like an expert at those French macaroons by then. That would be good. It's funny when you watch other people make things and you're like, oh, they make it look so easy. And I'm like, yeah, I have a feeling mine are not going to turn out like that the first time, but we'll see. At least I think I'm pretty precise. But the hard thing right now is we have to replace one of the lights on our oven, and when you're dealing with macaroons, you really don't want to be opening and closing the oven. That I know. So I think probably gonna have to do that before I start experimenting too much. Now I don't know if any of you have one of these or not, but when we get done with the lemon cookies, if you want a little extra pizzazz, having one of these little kind of hand sifters for powdered sugar makes things look really, really pretty. It's not, again, necessary or mandatory. Actually, something we used to do at the shop if we needed like powdered ingredients is you can actually get like unused, hose and put some in there and tie it up and then like tap it and powder will come out. So if you ever get desperate, you can do that with new hose. Don't use hose that you already have. All right, now at this point, we do want to go ahead and preheat the ovens. It's probably frozen again. Better? Okay. At this point, we are going to preheat our ovens as well. So you can preheat the oven to 325. 325. So I've got my bag of powdered sugar here. I'm literally just going to take a spoon and dump a bunch on a plate. You're going to get messy. You're about to get really messy. Thank you, Josso. I told them I don't normally do like the JoJo with the Bobo thing, but I mean, it kind of went with my Cindy apron, so needed that hair out of the face. All right, so you can see I pretty much coated my plate. It's pretty thick because you're gonna be rolling in it, so you want it to be a little on the thick side. I'd even keep extra handy. And then I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna grab a baking sheet, and I'm also going to grab parchment paper. And just in general, I will tell you this, something I learned, the sassy bakerella, something that I learned with doing a lot of cake decorating and baking and things like that is the quality of your pans is always going to make a huge difference. I am very picky with pans. I use a lot of Magic Line pans, and Fat Daddy-O's is also a very good brand, especially when you're dealing with cakes, because a lot of times what will happen, especially when you make like a square cake, if you don't, a lot of those brands, they like round the edges off, so you never get that really sharp edge. And also the way the pan conducts heat and releases is so much better with those two brands, 100%. I have had cakes before that I forgot to grease my pan and I still got it out. I'm not saying do that. It's not a good idea, but quality of pan makes a huge difference. Now, when you're making cookies, especially when you're doing the sugar cookies, which is not what we're doing, but especially with the sugar cookies, a lighter pan is going to help heat the bottom of that cookie more evenly. So I do typically use a lighter baking sheet as opposed to a darker baking sheet. Now, it's not to say you can't use a darker baking sheet, but it is something that will make a difference in how, burning the bottom of the cookie. It's just going to conduct that heat a little more evenly. So I'll show you the one I'm going to be using. I honestly don't know this brand, guys, but I got it at the cake shop I used to work at, and it is like one of the best. It's like an industrial like cookie sheet, but it is the best pan, and it just has that thin lip. This is also really, really something good to have on hand. If you've ever made, at Christmas time, like the chocolate bark, having a really thin sheet with a little bit of a lip on it, you can actually pour out your chocolate and allow it to settle so you can break it apart. So these are just really, really good to have. All right, so now I've got my parchment paper here. I am going to tear a piece off and put it on top of my baking sheet. I am not going to be greasing anything, just going to be using parchment paper. Sorry, I got a brand new roll here. All right, so now I'm gonna grab the lemon cookies out. Just gonna grab the dough. There we go. So everyone have their dough. Does it feel it should feel quite a bit thicker since it's been sitting in the freezer. So hopefully that's what you guys have. That's what I have. Should be good to go. Let me know. Let me know when you guys are ready, if you're good to go. The cats are now wandering around the studio, so be prepared for that. Oven just got preheated, so we're definitely going to be ready for some of these cookies. I'm so excited, and they don't take super, super long to bake, so I cannot wait until we get to try these. How we doing? Everybody ready? I don't want to go until you guys are ready. I'm going to make sure. Have paper towels on hand too. You're gonna get messy, like it's just gonna happen. So fair warning. Okay, all right, hopefully everybody's ready over there. I'm gonna start going because we're gonna be doing this for a minute anyway. So what you're gonna do, we want about 2-inch size balls. So you're gonna roll the balls into about 2 inches. Gotta get messy. And you're going to roll them into the powdered sugar. So just totally coat them in the powdered sugar. Set it on your baking sheet and just let it sit. We're actually gonna roll them a second time, but we wanna go ahead and do this for every single one. And remember where you started and where you ended, because then we're gonna start back with the first one here in a minute. I just kind of guesstimate. I don't do any fancy anything. I just eyeball it. You want to leave about 2 inches between each cookie on the baking sheet. It's very, very sticky, so I don't expect I'm going to hear anything for a little bit because look at it. So So we're actually letting this dough absorb the powdered sugar right now is what we're doing. You're probably not going to be able to do the whole concoction at once. Depends on how big your baking sheet is, I guess. All right. And we're rolling. So now I'm going to go to my second row here, and we're just going to be rolling this messy, messy dough for a while. Can you guys see how I'm just kind of using my finger to just sort of swirl it around in the powdered sugar? Now, like I said, I would normally recommend leaving this 2 hours in the fridge. I'm getting sections that are softer than others. If you have that too, try to start maybe with the sections that are a little bit less soft. Probably gonna have a better result with those sections. Those parts that got a little more frozen. I will probably end up saving the rest of my dough for tomorrow. I'll probably put it in the fridge overnight tonight and do the rest tomorrow just so that it can chill longer. Oh my gosh, you guys, I look like a crazy monster already over here. Julianne's ready. Yeah. Everyone is going to be getting so messy right now. That's the only downside to this recipe. That's really the only downside. This is the best recipe ever, but it's messy for sure. You're going to start to notice too as you're doing this that wherever you started with that initial cookie, you're going to see that the powdered sugar has absorbed kind of into that. So that's how you're going to know too where to go back and start in case you forgot. Yes, you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do this, Jossam. They are so, so good. So once I actually get done with how many I can fit on my baking sheet, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to wipe my hands off before I start back with round 2 because it's getting really, really messy. So I'm going to go ahead. It's my last one here. These are lemon butter cookies. For those of you just joining, we are making lemon butter cookies. They are probably my favorite cookie ever. I just absolutely love them. And they're a mess, so that's what's going on. All right, so grabbing my paper towels now that I have my entire sheet done. Maybe I'm even gonna wash my hands here real quick. So you guys keep rolling. I'm gonna do that and then we'll do round 2, which will hopefully be a little less messy since we have already powdered sugar down a little bit. All right, we are looking good. I cannot wait to have these. Oh my gosh, I told Julianne earlier, I'm like, I didn't eat many calories today at all so that I could just save them all for this. So that's what's happening tonight. I'm still within my daily calorie intake, guys. Don't judge me. All right, so I'm starting back with the first one. And this time I'm going to roll again. and I'm not gonna shake any excess off at all. So this time I actually like to roll a little bit thicker. I find that you get a little bit more of the powdered sugar left after the fact. So you can see it's pretty much coated almost like a powdered sugar donut. It is totally, totally coated on this second coating. So really don't be afraid to do it up big on this second coat of powdered sugar. That's what it should look like, is a powdered sugar donut, like a donut hole. Now, if you wanted to, I have not done this, but if you wanted to chill them a little bit more, just for shape purposes, you could take your cookie sheet probably and stick it in the fridge for like 10 minutes since obviously we didn't do our full chill time. You could probably do that. They might be a little flatter than they are sometimes. Not sure yet, we'll find out since we didn't do the full time. So if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to. I'm not going to, but that is something you can do. This one feels especially like smushy. So I have a feeling a couple of these are going to kind of be a little flatter than normal. The ones that were a little more frozen, like the sections of your dough, like I said, that were a little more frozen, I think will probably be fine. But you are welcome to chill. And if you are not going to chill, then as soon as you get that last one done on the second coating, pop them straight in the oven. It's going to be for 18 to 20 minutes. If you rolled your dough a little bit thicker, it could be a little bit longer. Lacey, if you're done, if you've done your second coat completely, you can stick them in the oven and set a timer for 18 to 20 minutes. And check on them then. Like I said, if they're a little thicker, it might take a little bit longer. What we're going to be looking for is just a very slight golden brown on the edge of these cookies. And it should be kind of almost just slightly crisp on the outer edge, but softer in the middle. That's what we're going to be going for. And the way that these cookies settle, they're going to crackle. So it's like a crackle cookie where you get kind of those, I don't know, you know, like when you see dry earth patches that have the little cracks in it, it's going to look like that with the powdered sugar. Hopefully that makes any sense at all. Almost done. I've got one more after this, and then it's popping in the oven. Okay, last one. There we go. And they go, 18 to 20 minutes. I went ahead and put mine on 20 because I know that I tend to like make mine a little bit on the larger size. So I'm going to start there. If you're going to continue to make the rest of yours tonight rather than tomorrow, I would stick your dough back in the freezer until you're ready for the second baking sheet. Since it is a little soft, I would stick it back in the freezer and you can keep the powdered sugar out. Or if you're going to wait till tomorrow and chill the rest of the dough, put it in the fridge instead overnight. So totally up to you guys. I'm not going to do any more. I'm just going to stick this in the fridge right now, but that's totally your call. You're welcome to do it either way. Hello. We have a visitor. I would not normally recommend doing this in the middle of your baking, but everyone say hello to Luna. She is very mischievous and she has very serious anxiety and separation anxiety issues. They're both kind of running around here right now because it's getting close to their dinner time. So they're like, why are you getting food and I'm not? So first batch is in the oven. Yay! I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I really, really cannot wait. Like I said, don't forget, definitely take a couple and put them in the fridge overnight too. Just, they're so, as much as I love them in general, they're so good cold. I'm frozen again, I think. I keep glitching. But they're so good cold. Has anyone here had the Maggiano's lemon cookies? Does anyone have those? Have you heard me talk about those before? Because those were always my favorite lemon cookies. We would go and do the like 2-person special, you know, date night kind of thing, and it came with dessert. And lemon cookies are super inexpensive. They're like the least expensive dessert that they have, and we would always just get lemon cookies. But it is so funny because since I started making these, we have gone back. I don't like them anymore. I think they taste super dry, and yeah, it's really weird. It kind of like put me off of their lemon cookies. So that is how much I love this recipe. They completely just blew my favorite lemon cookie right out of the water. They do have a really cool lemon glaze on those cookies though, and I would love to find a glaze because I think that on top of these would just be like ridiculous. So I would love to find that. First batch in the oven. All right, so while we're doing that, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is still as hard as a brick right now. So I might just kind of talk to you about what to do with this dough tomorrow because it's pretty simple and straightforward. Now, yours is gonna have been chilled in the fridge instead of the freezer, so it will not be quite as hard as mine is. I might get to showing you some of this by the time we're actually done, but with the sugar cookies. So what you want to do, a sort of a mistake a lot of people make, I think, is when they roll the cookie dough out, they roll into powder. So what you end up doing is you're adding more flour or more powdered sugar or whatever you're using, and it actually kind of densens, that's not a word. It makes your recipe more dense, more dry. So I do not do that. I actually roll in between 2 sheets of parchment paper. So I'll cut like a slice of the dough off, put a piece of parchment paper down, put the dough down, put a piece of parchment paper on top. So I sandwich it in between the parchment paper. Then I like to roll the cookies to about 1/4 of an inch in thickness. That's about the thickness, or a little bit less than the thickness of, let me think about this. It's a little bit thicker than like a cake board. So something a lot of people will do is they'll buy painter sticks and lay it on either side so that you can't roll beyond that thickness, if that makes sense. So you're gonna roll in between the parchment paper. You can use the painter sticks or you can eyeball it. I'm super loosey-goosey, so I always just eyeball things, but that keeps me from having to add dry ingredients. So you will roll out a section of your dough to that thickness in between the parchment paper. Once you have gotten that thickness and you go ahead and cut your shapes, and same thing, I put a piece of parchment paper on a light colored baking sheet and I transfer them to the baking sheet. Now you're gonna have some of that dough left over from outside of where you cut. I will re-roll that again, but beyond like 2 times, I don't roll it again because it starts to get, again, too soft, too pliable. I don't wanna do that because my cookies aren't gonna hold their shape anymore. So I would say 2 times per section of rolling is about all you're gonna get. So you'll do that, you'll get your cookies on your sheet, and then you're gonna take that cookie sheet ready to go, and you're not gonna put it in the oven, you're gonna put it in the fridge. You wanna chill them in shapes for about 15 minutes in the fridge. That is also gonna help, you know, again, it's like when something is already kind of closer to room temperature, it just wants to bleed out in the oven, right? So you wanna keep your dough really, really cold, and that's gonna help you hold your shape. Now, the cook time on the regular dough, let's see what I have, only 5 to 7 minutes, but that give or take, depending on the size of the cookie cutter. You know, sometimes you get those mega cookie cutters, it's gonna take a little bit longer, but 5 to 7 minutes for a traditional small cookie cutter. I would say 7 to 10 on something larger probably. hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that makes sense. But that is going to solve a lot of problems. Not adding extra dry ingredients because you don't want to make the recipe drier and more dense, and rolling it out between the parchment paper to 1/4 inch thickness, and then rechilling once you cut out the cookies. Hopefully that makes sense. And again, if this softens up a little more, I will show you, but it's pretty straightforward from here with those. And if we want to, I will probably make a video soon with a decorating component where we can use this dough. This dough will stay good in the freezer for like 4 weeks. It's gonna stay good a long time. So if you're not ready to cut 800 cookies out of this, you can save the dough. You don't have to use everything at one time. So don't be afraid to save some of it. I usually do that, and now I'm gonna have 2 batches of it, so I'm definitely gonna be saving some of it. But yeah, that would be my advice there. Let's see. Oh, I know. I always have loved cats, but I'm actually allergic. I have to take medicine to have cats. Ooh, that sounds so good. That sounds really good. Lemon raspberry, yum. I would love to learn something lemon raspberry. I would love to do, I've been thinking about doing some sort of a chocolate raspberry dessert too, because I love that combination as well. So, so good. All right, how much time do we have? 12:34 on my clock. Now, I will say what you can do as well, what I probably will do, is when you get to about the halfway mark, you can rotate the cookie sheet if you want. Sometimes it's just helpful, again, to kind of keep things evenly heating, give it the same amount of love on each side. So if you want to do that, you certainly can. I will probably do that. Like I said, just it never hurts. You don't have to if you'd rather not open the oven. Everyone's oven's a little different, then you don't have to either. The cookies turned out great, and I didn't do it last time. So not a necessary thing, but you can if you want to.
Just someone who knows the difference between the top and bottom brackets.
Oh, that's a very good question. I find that it kind of depends on what you are cooking. I don't use the difference a ton with baking, at least with the things I've been baking, because I want an even heat. So I'm typically right in the middle of the oven, rotating things. I have found more with cooking that I use like the top rack or the bottom rack if I want the heat to be distributed differently for some reason. Not an expert on that one, not gonna lie, but I think it's a matter of just where you want that heat to hit if you're doing different things, or if you want something to get really, really hot and be closer to that be closer to the top burner, mainly is the thing. But I'm a cake girl, so everything kind of ends up just rotating in the oven most of the time. Oh, I can't wait to eat these, guys. I've literally been dreaming about these for weeks. I've been so good. It's been so hard not to make this recipe again. I've been trying to be good. Like I said, the bike comes tomorrow. Well, technically we're going to pick it up, but the bike comes tomorrow. So I'm going to have to be a really good girl. This is like my last hurrah with you guys before I really rein myself in from my self-isolation food coma. So all right, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and rotate my cookies real quick. Thank you, Julie-Ann, for the Mickey mitt I'm gonna be using here. We literally use it all the time. They're looking really good. If you do rotate them, you're gonna see what I mean. They're looking really good. I'm so excited. Did anyone else use food color? Did anyone else have like cake dye? It's not cake dye, but the gel paste. Did anyone happen to have that? Do you guys do a lot of, baking or decorating? Does anyone else here just experiment with a lot of that stuff? You want to bring Nova here? I can introduce her. I'm gonna have my husband bring my other child in and say hi. Oh, you're gonna bring her this way? Okay. Oh my gosh, over the counter? Jeez, this is Nova. This is our other one. She's the wild one here. She's got, what's going on here? You're famous now, look. How famous you are. No, we're not gonna walk on the counter. Nope. There you go. Yes, I agree. Sour cream as an ingredient is always a good sign. That's how I feel. I think this recipe, having the butter with the lemon and also the cream cheese, also is like extra good. Oh, that's okay. We love it. We use it all the time. We seriously, we actually like really needed one because we only had one of the little grabbing ones, and it's so much more convenient to have the ones that grab the pan, especially when you've got those that have like that thin lip on it. It's not as easy, I don't feel like, to grab with the like pot. What am I trying to say? Like is it a pot holder? The flat one? Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't have either. I wouldn't have used it either if I didn't. They're still going to be so good though. We're getting close. How's everyone doing on time? Are everyone's cookies close to done? I know Lacey was like ahead of us. She was out there ready to go. Lacey, are you letting the kiddos taste test? What are you doing? So my next videos, just for you guys that are here, I'm going to have Bibbidi stuff coming up soon, as well as I'm going to have Circa finally. I got my Circa box and I did a Circa filming and a pin. I think it was something with pins. And my memory card corrupted, so that's fun. I get to redo that, so it's gonna be interesting. But I'm excited and I'm so glad Bibbidi's here. It's been so awesome. Oh yeah, we'll send them to you, Jocelyn. We'll send you the cookies. I don't need all the cookies, so you let me know. I'll send some to you. Just over 4 minutes to go. Yes, it's so good. I know, they do look good. When you guys get close, just kind of take a good look at the cookies. Make sure they kind of have that just sort of slight browning on the edge. I think I'm glitching again. Just that slight browning on the edge, and they should look a little softer in the middle. Here we go. And you'll be good to go. So make sure that they're a little bit there, that they don't look completely the same everywhere. They should have that slight browning, and you'll know that they're good to go. Sometimes I have to leave them in a little longer because, like I said, I think mine end up a little bit bigger than the 2 inches, but they're so good. And then you're going to want to let them cool for just a few minutes, but you can definitely try one warm. I definitely did the first time and it was so good, but even better cold. So really, really good. I'm so excited. Let's see, I've got just over 4 minutes too. So we're super, super close. I'm trying to remember what my other questions were. I had a couple other questions. Oh, I think someone asked me if I was going to be doing more Star Wars cookies. I don't know if I'm going to do any more Star Wars cookie designs, but I saw someone that did one on just, I can't remember if it was a round cookie or an oval cookie, but they did like Baby Yoda in the little bassinet just on top of it, and it was flipping awesome. I would love to do that. I'm not like the biggest Star Wars person on the planet. I like it, but I'm not a diehard like fan. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing that yet or not. I think someone asked me too, maybe my favorite dining experience at Disney. I think that was the other question, my favorite dining experience at Disney. I think, it's hard. Honestly, I love hibachi. I don't know if anyone else loves hibachi, but I love it. I feel like anytime I go to Tepani Do, I just have a great time. I love Epcot. Epcot, I could buy a park ticket and only go to Epcot all week long, just Epcot. I love being around the countries. I love the food. I love the sort of intellectual, sciencey, nerdy side of things because I definitely have that side. So yeah, maybe just Tiffany dough. They used to have a different restaurant in Italy that they got rid of probably 10 years ago. I can't even remember. It switched over to something else. It was like the fine dining in Italy. That was probably my favorite restaurant, and it's never quite been exactly the same. My favorite dessert to bake, ooh, that takes forever and to prep again. Honestly, this is gonna sound so basic. My favorite dessert to prep that takes forever would probably be like, I mean, it's more to do with the decorating because I love French vanilla cake. I make a chocolate peanut butter cake where it's like a peanut butter, almost mousse type of icing. And then I also there's something called icing fruits. This is actually a really good thing to know about. It's called icing fruits. And it's kind of like a pulpy fruit mixture you can buy that is, it's really got fruit in it rather than being like a flavoring. It's got the fruit in it, and you can mix it into icing, you can mix it into batter, you can mix it into different things, and it has the best flavor because it's almost like if you took a fruit, ground it down, and then added like its glazed counterpart a little bit, if that makes any sense. So I like to do cakes that have that whipped into the icing, but I like the big, crazy cakes. I like to decorate the big crazy cakes, and I hate every minute of it. When I do it, I feel like I'm gonna throw the cake against the wall, but by the time I'm done with it, the payoff of just what you can do with modern cakes, even though that's, I know, kind of a roundabout answer, that is definitely my favorite thing. I've thought on this channel so many times, like I'm gonna recreate a bake shop pin in a cake because I have the ability to do so, but it's like a 4-day long process. It's like 4 days. It's your prep work, all your baking, your structure, your decorating, your gum paste work that takes days at a time. So I end up feeling almost a little overwhelmed by it, which is why I don't do it that much anymore, just because you've never seen more little tiny tools and just a house exploded more than when you make a giant cake. It is an undertaking, for sure, for sure. I think they're almost done. 1 minute, it says. Okay, I gotta peek, guys. I gotta peek with these. Okay, I think mine are gonna need a couple minutes longer. I'm not gonna lie, I don't see that little browning on the edges yet. How is everyone else doing? Because I know you guys, yours might be done a little sooner than mine, so you're gonna have to let me know. Oh, another dessert I really like that takes a long time, but it's so good is like my mom has a homemade peanut butter fudge recipe. It's kind of like a thing in our family. Oh, that stuff is good. It's so rich though. I mean, I could eat like half of a piece and I'm good. It's really, really rich. Yes, I know. I think at some point I'm going to bite the bullet and do it. I'm not sure when, but that's what I'd really like to do. I'd actually really like to reach out to Pin Bake Shop and ask them some suggestions maybe on pins they know are going to be available. Because I would hate to use a pin and then people possibly just like the pin and then not be able to purchase it. You know, I don't want people to really like the pin and then maybe like, psych, I bought this 3 months ago and it's not in production anymore. So I had one I wanted to do, but it's not available anymore. So I might reach out to them at some point and ask about it and just make sure that they can tell me like when they're going to have in stock a while, or maybe even tell me one ahead of time so that by the time I got the video done, it would be out there. But I always hate to do that. I hate to show things and then it's like not available to people. Some of you probably saw the other day that my friend Taryn at Twinkle Bell Taryn, she did a Shein haul, which is a clothing brand, which is so funny because I ordered a bunch of stuff in January to do a Shein haul, and then I had a whole thing that I had to send some stuff back, so I haven't gotten to do it yet. But a lot of their stuff goes fast and then they don't reproduce it. So I kind of hate, you know, to show stuff and then it's like, if you like it, it's not there. I always feel bad about that. I don't like that. But hopefully, I know some stuff still is. I know some stuff still is. And they have really cute stuff. So she was good to get it up faster than me. But my point is, like, now that I had to send stuff back and it's taken so long, I don't know how much of that stuff's going to be still there, if that makes sense. 20 minutes going, another 2. Yeah, that's about what I'm going to do. I know. I love their pens. Their pens are so pretty. So, so pretty. I had an Aladdin one I really wanted to do because that's my favorite. But the last time I checked, it wasn't an option. So I didn't want to do that one. And again, because it's going to take so much time, I want to make sure that it's going to be there, whichever one I would do. But I think it'd be really fun to try to recreate one of their pens. It'd be cool. I think it's been another couple minutes. It's been 2. Let's see. I think they're close. I'm going to leave mine in for maybe 2 more, but I think they're close. I'm starting to see a little something, I think. So hopefully we're close. Yay! Hopefully the stuff about the sugar cookies was helpful too. You guys will have to let me know. Hopefully that makes sense. It will be on here on this live for you guys. Again, tomorrow I will try to sit down, figure out what I mentioned, like the cookie cutter, and where the instructions for what to do with this are, so that I can just put a timestamp for you guys so that you can easily find the talking point on that. And I'll try to put times too for like lemon cookies, sugar cookies, so people can go back over time if you need to and find those exact places versus having to try to, filter through the whole video. Who is ready to eat some cookies? I'm so ready. I'm really hungry too. We ate Chipotle today, guys. We ate Chipotle. We ate really late so that we could, not be hungry through this whole thing, but I'm getting there and I'm ready for these cookies now. So, all right, I think I'm about to prep to take these out. So I'm going to grab a couple pot holders. I'm going to set them out. I'm going to let them cool for maybe just a few minutes, just long enough to not like burn my hands. And then we're going to taste test and you guys are going to have to give me the verdict. I don't know. I think they might need a couple more minutes still. I never managed to roll those 2 inches. I always end up with these big giant cookies, but they're so good I can't help myself. I think I'm glitching again. I made a really weird face there. Isn't that fun? It gets stuck in like the most unflattering face. How is everyone doing? You ready to eat some cookies?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. What is everyone else's favorite dessert here? I would love to know, like, what's your favorite dessert? That was a good question, Jocelyn. Does everyone have one that's like kind of a pain to make, but it pays off in the end? I'm all about it. You point me to some new recipes, I will try it. Also, would you guys like to see more? I was doing it on the lifestyle channel, which now I've just kind of decided I'm going to combine everything. Would you guys like to see more like recipe testing where, it's a little more freeform, a little more almost, I don't want to say silly, but like where we have more fun with it. Maybe they work, maybe they don't. We just test out recipes and see, would you guys like something like that? You're gonna have to let me know. I like stuff like that. I like watching stuff like that and doing stuff like that. I really wish I'd filmed the horrible lemon cookie recipe because it would have been hilarious, but I did not, sadly. So yeah, that was a good one. That was really crazy. All right, about to take them out, I think. I don't want to wait any longer. I'm impatient. I'm impatient, but they don't seem quite tough on the edges yet to me. They should have a little bit of crispness on the edge, a little bit more softness in the center.
This is probably gonna be our dinner, huh?
This probably is gonna be our dinner. It's probably gonna be our full dinner. If you guys are just tuning in, we're finishing up making like the best lemon cookies ever. There is an ingredients list on the announcement video on my YouTube channel, but tomorrow when this actually uploads to the channel, I will try to timestamp things. I will put the ingredients list again so that if you guys want to hop on it at a later time and follow along, that you can join in. I swear these are like the best lemon cookies I've ever had. And there's also going to be a recipe in here for roll-out sugar cookies that hold their shape and don't, you know, flood out in the oven and go from a pterodactyl into a dump truck. So yes, definitely be looking for that tomorrow. Thank you so much, Ariel. I'm so glad. I know it's like a little hard to chat with you guys when we're baking, but I'm really enjoying it too. I miss teaching so much. I miss teaching baking and decorating so much. I might do a live at some point on more the decorating side of things too, where we could just say like have cupcakes ready, have this ready, and do some sort of a decorating tutorial as well. I'm definitely thinking about that. It'd be a lot of fun. I thought about doing something where it was like making gum paste roses even, you know, something technical would be kind of cool, all sorts of things. So you guys are always more than welcome to let me know what you'd like to learn too, and I can definitely try to work on some stuff for you guys because this is awesome. So that is Luna. So this is what I mean. She has separation anxiety from me. It's I've never had cats like these cats. They are like really attached to me. I've always had cats that could care less if I was in a room or not. So these two are definitely not normal cats. All right. I'm taking them out no matter what they look like now. I'm trying them, so. Yeah, I think they're done. Okay, so for those of you there, Julianne, I don't know if you've taken yours out yet or not. I can see that on this particular batch, I can see that it's getting a little crispy on the edge, but it really doesn't look golden like it did last time. So I would just like, if you haven't taken them out, I just kind of take them out and check. I think they're done over here. So give those a check. I'm gonna let them cool for like a few minutes. Again, if you guys have any questions at all about anything Disney related, baking related, decorating related, let me know. I know it's hard again on a live where you're hands-on to do both, but definitely let me know. And we're gonna taste test here in a second, and I'm super excited, and I'm just so thankful that you guys stuck in this with me. I know it's kind of a long live. I kind of figured that would probably be because we had to chill and do different things, but this has been really fun, and it's just nice to have people to share the baking with again because I haven't been teaching in a while, so this is really, really nice. So hopefully you guys love the recipe. I really, really hope you do. And my husband is here too to answer all of the deep, dark, secret questions on me too. Don't ask him anything. He's making faces at me right now. You're gonna eat a cookie? It's really hot. It's probably too hot. This is what the men do. How is it?
Pretty good.
Pretty good? All right, you guys, since it's getting to that point, you guys are gonna have to let me know. Yeah, okay, Julianne, I'm gonna show you this too. You can see it's a little bit, you can see it more on the bottom. It's very light on the side right now. Yes, exactly. Yes, yes, yes. So you're good. It's really hot. I'm gonna try it anyway.
I definitely inhaled the powdered sugar the first bite, and that sucked.
Luna. Yes. Yes. All the yes. It's really soft. It's really soft still. Like I said, definitely stick some in the fridge overnight in a Tupperware because they are so good cold. But if you don't mind it being a little hot, you can still go ahead and try it. Please let me know what you think before you guys hop off. Oh my gosh. They're so good, guys. They're really good.
They're dangerous.
I know.
You can't have these in the house.
This is my husband, Casey. He's been on my other channel a fair amount. I have a lifestyle channel, but I'm not really using it. I'm starting to combine things here, although I might at some point just put the baking stuff up there. I don't really know what I'm doing with that yet. But you've seen him maybe a couple times over there. He'll get on and taste test for me. Mm-hmm. He has no problem with that. I can't get him to open Disney pins to save my life, but he will get on and do that. A
little hot.
A little hot. You are so welcome, Julianne. I'm so glad you guys did this with me. Oh my gosh, those are so good. Still my favorite cookie. Still my favorite cookie for sure.
Yeah. You don't have it on anymore, do you?
I don't. Thank you. This is another thing. It's really good to have someone else around when you bake so they can tell you when you leave the oven on, because we both tend to do that, but we tend to catch each other, so works out. Anyone taste tested yet? How are we doing? Hey guys, if you're just hopping on again, we are wrapping up a lemon cookie recipe and a rollout sugar cookie recipe that holds shape when you cut cookies out. It will be up tomorrow with timestamps on my YouTube page, so you can follow along and bake with us if you want. This lemon cookie recipe is the best ever. If you have trouble with your sugar cookies holding shape, this recipe is really good. So yeah, definitely pop back in. Yes, you're so welcome. I'm so glad to see you guys. Thanks for popping in, Jossam. You guys are awesome. I just can't wait to hear what you think about the cookies. You have no idea how long I have been frozen. No, you guys have no idea how long I've been wanting to just have someone tell me what they think of these ever since I found the recipe. So I'm so excited. Oh, you're fine, girl. I'm glitched again, hun. You're fine, girl. It's good to see you. It will be up tomorrow anyway, so if anybody ever wants to pop back on and make cookies, it will be there. I'm going to put timestamps, so everything's good. We're almost done. Just waiting on some taste tests. All right, I'm having another one of these lemon cookies. If you haven't, if you're just getting here, I don't know who's been here, who's getting here, I will show you. This is what we just finished up. Let me find like the best looking one. I'm gonna grab this one. So we made lemon butter cookies. You can see, ooh, powdered sugar falling all over my floor is what's really happening, but they're yellow, they crackle, they've got the powdered sugar, and they are so yum. So yum. Still really hot out of the oven, but I'm still eating it anyway. All right, guys. I'm going to stay on about 5 more minutes. Any questions, throw them out there. Let me know what you think. If you're still letting them cool, definitely remember to give this video a like and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of them when they're done. I would love to know. I have been dying to know what someone thinks of these. Because, you want to know you're not crazy. I swear they're the best lemon cookie. Yes, girl, it is modern day Cindy vibes. I've got her little, this apron is like her little dress when she's sweeping the floors. And then I threw on this JoJo with the bow. Oh my gosh, it's so good, this cookie. Not to tease everyone, but this cookie is so good. So, Yeah, y'all got to make these. There will be timestamps. You can go back, make them anytime you want. They're excellent, excellent, excellent. Yes, definitely feel free to chill the batter. They're so good. I know. Let me know when you guys try them cold too. I am going to get off of here now, clean up my kitchen, which I have destroyed thoroughly. Thank you guys so much for being part of this with me. I was kind of nervous because I've never done a live, but I have really been wanting to get back into this, and I just really appreciate everyone that came. So I will see you guys soon, and look for more of that information and the timestamps and stuff on the video tomorrow. Have a good night, guys. Bye.